Have you ever thought about growing your own food? Even in the heart of the city, it's possible and beneficial. Welcome to the world of urban gardening, a green revolution taking root in cities across the globe. Urban gardening is about more than just fresh tomatoes and fragrant herbs. It's about food independence. Think about it. In an extended stay-at-home period, wouldn't it be comforting to know that your pantry isn't reliant on grocery store supply chains? The beauty of urban gardening is that it allows you to control your food source right from your windowsill or balcony. But the benefits don't stop at food security. Urban gardening is a powerful tool for improving physical health. You might be surprised to learn that just 30 minutes of gardening can burn as many calories as a brisk walk. Plus, you'll be reaping the fruits of your labor in the form of nutrient-dense, homegrown produce. There's also the psychological boost that comes with tending to plants. It's no secret that nature has a calming effect on the human psyche. Gardening, even on a small scale, can provide a sense of purpose and accomplishment. It's a therapeutic activity that can help reduce stress, improve mood, and even enhance cognitive function. In essence, urban gardening is a holistic approach to wellness, blending physical activity, healthy eating, and mental health into one. It's a way to reconnect with nature, even within the concrete jungle. But let's not forget the environmental impact. Urban gardens help to reduce carbon footprints, contribute to biodiversity, and can even help to mitigate urban heat islands. Urban gardening isn't just about food. It's a journey towards self-sufficiency and mental well-being. It's about transforming cityscapes and mindscapes, one plant at a time. Now let's get started. Starting an urban garden may seem daunting, but with a bit of knowledge it becomes quite manageable. The first step on this green journey is choosing the right plants. You might be tempted to select purely based on taste preference, but factors like your climate and the space you have available are crucial considerations. If you're in a cooler climate, hardy greens like kale or root vegetables might be your go-to. Warmer climates, on the other hand, might allow for a wider variety of fruiting plants like tomatoes or peppers. Not all of us have the luxury of a backyard, but that shouldn't deter you. There are plenty of container options that can fit on a balcony or even a windowsill. A variety of pots, hanging baskets, or even upcycled containers can house your plants. If you're really pressed for space, vertical gardens are a fantastic solution. These can be as simple as a trellis with climbing plants or as complex as a wall-mounted system with integrated watering. Now let's dive into the basics of plant care, starting with soil. Potting soil is typically best for container gardening because it's designed to drain well and resist compaction. You can also mix in compost for added nutrients. Watering is an art in itself. The general rule is to water when the top inch of soil is dry, but this can vary depending on the plant. Lastly, light is vital for plant growth. Most fruiting plants need a good amount of sunlight, while some herbs and leafy greens can tolerate more shade. Getting started with urban gardening is a journey of learning and experimenting. It's about understanding your space, your climate, and your plants, and how they all work together. But most importantly, it's about embracing the joy and satisfaction that comes from growing your own food. With the right plants and care, even the smallest space can turn into a green oasis. Space is often a luxury in urban environments, but with a little creativity, you can maximize your yield. In the heart of the concrete jungle, every inch is precious, and maximizing your small space can transform your urban gardening game. Let's delve into some clever solutions that can help you get the most out of your limited space. First off, we have container gardening. This style of gardening can be tailored to fit any space, however small it may be. The key here is to choose the right size container for each plant you'd like to grow. Smaller vegetables like radishes and lettuce do well in shallow containers, while larger plants such as tomatoes and cucumbers thrive in deeper ones. Next, we turn our attention to vertical gardening. This gardening method is all about growing upwards rather than outwards. Hanging baskets, trellises, and wall-mounted planters are all great ways to make use of your vertical space. Climbing vegetables like beans, peas, and some varieties of tomatoes are perfect for vertical gardening. But we're not stopping there. Have you ever heard of companion planting? This is a technique where you plant certain crops together to help each other grow. For example, corn can provide a natural trellis for beans, which in turn can fix nitrogen in the soil, benefiting the corn. It's like a little garden buddy system. Now, let's talk about natural pest control. Growing certain plants together can deter pests, eliminating the need for harmful pesticides. Marigolds, for instance, are known to repel a variety of pests, and they can be a great companion for many vegetables. Finally, consider integrating multi-purpose furniture into your gardening space. Think of a bench that doubles as a planter or a table with a built-in herb garden. These pieces can help you make the most of your space and add a unique touch to your urban garden. Remember, it's not about the size of your space, it's about how you use it. With a bit of creativity and strategic planning, even the smallest of spaces can become a lush, food-producing oasis. So go ahead, roll up your sleeves and let's get growing. While gardening is a great start, there are other ways to source food in an urban environment. Let's begin with foraging. It may sound primitive, but cities are brimming with edible plants if you know where to look. From dandelions sprouting through sidewalk cracks to mulberries hanging over back alleys, urban environments offer a surprising variety of wild edibles. Of course, it's important to ensure you're identifying plants correctly and always foraging responsibly. Remember, some plants can be harmful or even deadly if consumed, so it's crucial to educate yourself before foraging. Now let's move on to water, an essential element for all life. In an urban setting, rainwater collection can be a practical way to secure a sustainable water source for irrigation. Collecting rainwater isn't just environmentally friendly, it helps reduce your reliance on municipal water supplies. With a simple setup, using barrels or tanks connected to your downspouts, you can start harnessing the power of rain. Next, let's dive into the world of hydroponics and aquaponics. These systems, which involve growing plants in water rather than soil, are perfect for apartment dwellers with limited space. Hydroponics involves growing plants directly in nutrient-rich water. Aquaponics, on the other hand, combines hydroponics with aquaculture, the practice of raising fish. The fish produce waste, which is converted into nutrients for the plants, creating a sustainable cycle. These systems can be set up indoors, on balconies or rooftops, making them ideal for city living. It's worth noting that these methods require some investment and technical knowledge, but the payoff can be substantial. You'll have the ability to grow fresh produce year-round, regardless of outside weather conditions. Plus, these systems use less water than traditional gardening, making them a sustainable choice. Embrace your surroundings and you'll find food sources you never knew existed. With a little creativity and resourcefulness, you can turn your urban jungle into a productive food source. Now that you've grown your food, it's time to make sure none of it goes to waste. You've put in the hard work tending to your urban garden, and now you're rewarded with a bounty of fresh produce. But what happens when there's more than you can eat before it spoils? The solution is food preservation. Canning is an excellent option for long-term storage. You can fill your pantry with jars of homemade tomato sauce, pickles, jams, and more. The process involves heating the food in jars to kill microorganisms that cause food to spoil, creating a vacuum seal that keeps food safe for up to a year or more. Next, let's delve into drying. This method is as simple as it sounds. By removing the water from your produce, you inhibit the growth of bacteria and mold. You can air dry herbs, sun-dry tomatoes, or even use a dehydrator for fruits like apples and bananas. Once dried, the food can be stored in a cool, dark place and rehydrated when you're ready to use it. Freezing is perhaps the easiest method of preservation. Most vegetables will need a quick blanch in boiling water to deactivate enzymes that can cause loss of flavor and color. After cooling, simply pack your produce into freezer-safe containers or bags, removing as much air as possible, and pop them in the freezer. But what about ensuring your harvest for next season? That's where seed saving comes in. By collecting and storing seeds from your current plants, you're preserving genetic diversity and ensuring you'll have seeds ready for the next planting season. Just remember, always save seeds from the healthiest plants and fruits. Preservation is the key to enjoying your harvest year-round. So whether you're canning, drying, freezing, or saving seeds, you're taking steps to maximize your urban garden's yield and reduce waste. Plus, there's something incredibly satisfying about seeing a pantry full of food you've grown and preserved yourself. It's not just food security, it's a sense of accomplishment. Urban gardening isn't just about individual survival. It's about building resilient communities. When you cultivate green spaces in your city, you're not just creating a food source for yourself, you're contributing to the overall health and vitality of your community. Think about starting or joining a community garden. These shared spaces are not only great places to grow food, they're also hubs for shared knowledge and camaraderie. In a community garden, you can learn from the wisdom of experienced gardeners, share your own insights, and work together to create a lush, productive space. Community gardens are also a wonderful way to bring nature into urban environments. They help to improve air quality, provide habitat for local wildlife, and create beautiful, tranquil spaces where people can escape the hustle and bustle of city life. But the benefits of urban gardening don't stop at the garden gate. When you have a bumper crop of tomatoes or zucchini, why not share the surplus with your neighbors, friends, or family? Sharing your harvest not only reduces waste, it also helps to build strong, supportive relationships in your community. And what about those times when you have more produce than you can eat or give away? Consider donating your surplus to a local food bank. Many food banks welcome fresh produce, and your donation could make a big difference to someone in need. Sharing the fruits of your labor is one of the most rewarding aspects of urban gardening. It's a way of giving back to your community, of contributing to the common good. And in the process, you're helping to create a culture of mutual aid and cooperation, which can be a lifeline in times of crisis. In times of need, a strong community can be your best resource. So let's cultivate not just plants, but also bonds of friendship and solidarity. Let's grow together, share together, and build resilient communities together. Let's make urban gardening a force for good in our cities and in our lives. Urban gardening and exploring alternative food sources are more than survival techniques. They are empowering practices that foster self-sufficiency and contribute to community resilience. Today, we've journeyed through the benefits of urban gardening, from its health and psychological effects to the invaluable skill of food independence. We've taken our first steps into this green world, learning how to select the right plants, understanding the essentials of soil, watering, and light, and maximizing even the smallest spaces. We've ventured into the realm of alternative food sources, from foraging to hydroponics, and learned how to preserve our harvest for future seasons. Finally, we've seen how our individual efforts can ripple out, nourishing our communities through shared gardens and surplus. Remember, every plant grown is a step towards sustainability. So let's keep growing, sharing, and thriving together. Every seed you plant is a testament to resilience and a gift to the future.